I have with me Dr. Steve Enticott from CI Tax, and we're going to talk about a bill budget. Dr. Steve, welcome to Dollars with Sense again.
Oh, thanks again, Dallas. I reckon we're going to have everyone turning their TVs off or changing channels at the moment, because I reckon doing a budget's got to be probably the driest topic one can imagine, but let's try and spice it up a little bit if we can.
Okay, well, why should you have a budget other than you want to keep your house?
Yeah, look, as accountants, we're probably hypocrites. You know, we tell everyone they should have a budget, but we probably have fairly loose budgets ourselves. Not all accountants, some are very budgeted, if you know what I mean. I think, you know, the key reason we should have a budget is we actually can't manage something if we can't measure it. Now, I get people coming and see me all the time, and they're like, we don't know where the money goes. And my question is, well, have you done a budget? Now, most people out there, they just live day to day. What's in the bank account gets spent. And at the end of the day, the big things come along in particular, and there's no money left to pay them. And they go, well, where did all the money go? They wouldn't have a clue. Doing a budget actually helps you measure that, so you can look back and go, oh yeah, that's where the money went, and you can understand it and make changes.
Now, when you talk about a budget, we're talking about this is how much you're allowed to spend, or a cash flow analysis as to where the money goes?
Yeah, I think both. I think, look, I think the number one reason we do it is accountability. Okay, now, whether it be money in, money out, or whatever, we've got to be accountable to ourselves and how we spend, or accountable to our family or our partner in particular. I think one of the main reasons is to save. You know, if we want to save for a holiday, a car, or a house, or a wedding, or whatever, you know, we should have a budget so we can monitor what our actual income is and our expenses are, and see how much we can save from there.
So what are some tips for doing a budget?
Tips, I'll tell you the best tip, and it's a government tip. It's moneysmart.gov.au, if you want to put that up on the screen.
That's moneysmart.gov.au.
Brilliant website, Australian government one. They actually got a whole bunch of information there on doing budgets, and including an Excel spreadsheet, which is you know, a very, very, very good budget. In fact, I direct everybody there. But look, if you don't want to go there, just Google budget and you'll get 10 billion templates that you can download and adapt to suit from there. That's probably the best budget. It is a very formal budget. That is income, is expenses. It's extremely detailed.
What happens if you're struggling and you're not 100% sure on how to do a budget?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you would recommend, other than going and spending $5,000 to go to somebody who does budgets?
Yeah, well, you come to an accountant, we could charge a bit to do a budget. But look, at the end of the day, what I try to get people to do, and this is what I wanted to talk about today, I call it a bill budget. When I was a first-year accountant straight out of school.
A couple of years ago?
Yeah, just only a couple. We also had our first child, and my wife at the time stopped working, and I was on first-year accountant's wages, you know, with a mortgage and a whole heap of new bills to pay. Now, it's probably the first time in my life I've done a budget and a proper budget, because we had to survive. And the one tip I want to get across is create what I call a bill budget. It worked for me. And that where we go back over our bills over the last 12 months. If you haven't kept the bills, go to your credit card statements, or simply just go to your bank account and see where you've paid them, or a checkbook. But go back and reconstruct all the usual ones like gas, electricity, car registration.
Insurances, if any.
Exactly, and you'll soon see it. Go back over your credit card, alcohol, holidays, whatever it was, and just reconstruct the past 12 months. Multiply that forward. Just keep it on your bills to keep it simple. Just go, well, I know what these bills are. They're going to come in every year, whether it be the heating or the telephone or the internet. This is what it is. Multiply that by 52 weeks in the year. Multiply them up, add them up for the year, and then divide it by 52 weeks in the year. Then you'll have a dollar amount that tells you how much you have to put into a bank account every single week from your wages, which is going to cover your bills. You won't have to think about your bills again.
Now, would you put down, if you're paying off your own home, you consider your payments to your home or payments to your car as a bill?
Very much so. Yeah, they're the main ones. You know, the ones you know that are going to be there every month, every week, every 2 months. They're the ones you don't want to worry about. What I see in particular is you have a 2 month period, say, where you have no, you have no bills. For some reason, they just stop. And all of a sudden you get them all in a rush. So you're going along, you're looking at your bank account and go, oh, I've got a couple of $1,000 in there, I'm going to go buy this. Now, all these bills then come in all at once, and you haven't got the income there to cover it. Okay, so by having that bill budget where a certain amount for those guaranteed bills, like your mortgages and all those ones we've mentioned, coming out ideally on a direct debit so you never see it,
So how far should I be planning ahead with that budget? You're saying 12 months?
Yeah, 12 months.
What about putting in the opportunity to do some investing, whether it be in shares, whether it be in property? It doesn't really matter, but making an account there for some type of investing?
Exactly. Use the bill budget as your cornerstone. So you've got your bills covered. So let's say we get $1,000 a week coming into the family. We know that our bills are $700 a week. Okay, so all that money goes off into a bill account. We never have to think of those bills again. We now have $300 a week left over. Okay, we might say, well, that $200 is for spending down, entertainment or whatever, but $100 we are going to put into an account, and we are going to use that in for investment. But if you start with a bill budget, if you get your bills under control, it isn't hard. It is just a matter of doing it, and then you'll soon see what you have left over for recreation or investing.
What happens if I've got credit card debt in there as well? Do I look at, what would I be looking at doing that? I'd be looking at paying that down. It gives me the options to look at consolidating the debt, doing all those sorts of things.
Yeah, very much so. I think, look, start with that bill budget. You've got to look at your debts. I get people to do a profit and loss, if you like. Treat the budget as your profit and loss, but your balance sheet is, your debts. Okay, now if you've got credit card debt, as you know, interest rates are anywhere from 15 to 25% on some of those store credit cards and higher. You need to consolidate them down. If you've got, say, as an example, $20,000 worth of credit card debt, it's costing you $4,000 a year in interest. Now that's nearly $80 a week, roughly. Don't count me on that one. But if you can start to get that under control by bringing it over into a lower interest environment, ideally against home equity or family and friends at 7%. Do your numbers. It's a hell of a lot cheaper, and that's going to make a lot of room in your budget. Yep.
Thanks a lot for doing that.
Thanks for the passion, Dallas.
Thanks. Well, there you have it from Dr. Steve Enticott from CIA Tax. Do a bill budget, work out what you're spending and work it out from there, because if you don't, you'll keep on spending money that you don't have, and that can't be all good. Go onto the government website if you like to get a bill budget there, or go onto Dollars with Cents, click on CIA Tax, and I'll make sure Dr. Steve's got something there for you. We'll see you after the break.